Good morning. Well, took a couple of weeks, but of no exercise and then COVID at the end of that, for the black dog to come chase me the last couple of days, and not in a bad way, not like it usually would. I think just the mixture of, I guess, not being able to exercise to my fullest extent, and then sort of COVID knocking me down for a week. I was getting a bit antsy sitting at home, and this is why it's really important to have a good support network. Like not just Courtney being who she is and being a positive person, but there's two sides to it as well. It's like the perfect saying from living the organisation for mental health. It ain't weak to speak. So in the past, and I think a lot of men do this especially, but women do it as well, they don't really talk about when they're feeling a bit down. I think it's really important for me to talk about it when I do, because it helps me address it, and I stay accountable for it. And accountability for it is it's a really important thing, because if I didn't talk about it and speak up then, and making my support network aware of it, support network mainly being Courtney, I'm glad that I can be honest with her in our relationship about feeling down a little bit at a time, and she understands the situation and the importance of speaking out and sort of letting her know that the last few days have been shit. Obviously been stuck inside with COVID for 7 days, not being able to exercise. I did try a little bit of exercise, but I felt like my heart was going to explode just from being sick, and then obviously not exercising for a couple of weeks before that because of my shoulder. So I just sort of sat at home, did nothing for a week, and like I said, the dog started to chase me a little bit. So the last couple of days I've been a bit like, not feeling so great. And like I said, the importance of speaking up about it is Courtney's like, well, get up, get out, go for a walk. Like a walk's simple, this, you've been through this, which she's dead right. And sometimes they need just that little bit of motivation to get out and do it. So that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. Now I've been feeling better, just getting out and having a walk, and it just makes such a difference. And like I said, because of the consistency and some of the methods I use to balance certain aspects of my life, this period is only like a day or two where I sort of feel down and I sort of talk to myself like shit, to be completely honest, which I shouldn't, which is a big thing that people do, self-talk. Like self-talk's such a massive thing. The way you talk to yourself, like I sort of talk down to myself, like it's just like, even though I feel like crap and I need the rest, I sit there and I go, oh, you're lazy, what are you doing? Like, get off your butt. And then because I'm not as efficient as I usually would be with my work and time management and all that sort of stuff, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? You're not smart enough to do this. You're not smart enough to do that. And I hope you can appreciate it. It's obviously a really big thing for someone to admit that and say that they talk to themselves like that. But the reason that I'm saying it is so that if other people recognize it in themselves, and the thing about, like I said, it's only a couple of days for me, but people go on for weeks and weeks and years talking to themselves like that. They get in these deep, dark holes. And one of the things, I now work a lot within mental health. Previously, I was consulting with an NDIS business that dealt with men and boys between the age of 16 and 35. And now I'm working for a psychology charity that offers psychology services. And the figures are coming out of, like, one guy we worked with in the NDIS, like he came through to us through a crisis line and he needed a counsellor. And there was a long wait list for counsellors. It took about 2-3 days for us to get onto someone to get him to call him back in his crisis situation. And within that 3 days, he was 17 years old. He hung himself in the park. So, it blows my mind that when I get down for these sort of couple of days and talk to myself like shit, that there's people that do it for days and weeks on end, and they just don't have A, the courage to speak out about it, or B, have the support network to help them with it. So I just think it's a really important thing to, you know, be honest with yourself, be honest with the people around you. And, you know, just like I said, going back to the Living organisation, it's Ain't Weak to Speak. It's about creating awareness and getting rid of the stigma of mental health. And it's really hard. It's really hard for a male, A, to talk about it, B, to admit it, and C, then to record a video to tell other people that I have moments like that. But the reality is that I think most men and even women do. So, you know, if there's one thing that I know always works for me, it's exercise. And like I said, even the capacity just to go for a walk somewhere nice. Like, look at this. This is a place I used to come to every single day when I get treatment, and this is why Courtney and I moved here, because we would come here for a walk and just appreciate like what life has to give, and appreciate, you know, being able to be outdoors and breathe the fresh air and be grateful for that. So get outside and exercise, like get your body moving as much as you possibly can. Like if there's just one simple thing that you can implement into running away from the black dog on days that it gets you down, it's that. And hopefully just that little bit exercise makes you feel better and motivates you enough to like even just tell somebody that you were feeling a bit crap. It's really, really important. And like I said, like now working with this psychology charity at the moment, you would not believe the figures behind the growth in mental health for the last 2 years. Obviously it's driven by the pandemic, and it's driven by you know, the war in Ukraine is another thing as well, which is a massive thing. But then just general inflation and stress on living, like people being able to afford things. Like Courtney and I've been in the same boat. Like obviously we've been trying to dig ourselves out of debt after a couple of years of not being able to work and maternity leave and all that sort of stuff that comes along with the fun of having cancer and a baby at the same time. But at the end of the day, like if there's another thing that's really, really important to practice, it's gratefulness. And we've been given a gift of gratefulness because of what I've been through. It's just an absolute gift to be able to come for a walk, be able to come outside, breathe the air. I think about some people that are probably still in hospital or still getting treatment from the time that I was, like, you know, and some of them never came out. So getting the opportunity just to come out and walk and look at this in the morning is really motivating. So get outside and exercise, be grateful that you can, and hold yourself accountable. This is another thing I talked to my coach about last night. Like she set me a list of tasks that I need to do, and I said to her, because you've set me these tasks and I'm accountable to you, I'm going to absolutely smash this list of tasks. And I already have ticked 3 or 4 things off the list this morning before 7 a.m. And what she said to me, which is a great lesson for me, is like, well, you got to hold yourself more accountable, and you got to hold your family accountable. Like you got to hold yourself to your family accountable. So think about how Teddy and Courtney, you know, how proud they are, how they're going to benefit from the way that I carry myself and improve myself. You know, I'm obviously, you know, the male and alpha figure in my family situation. So me being successful at what I do helps really benefit them. And because sometimes, like, when you feel a bit crap, like this is how I feel like it's a little bit selfish. Like I think about me, like, oh, why do I feel bad? Why do I talk to myself this way? It's all about me. But unfortunately, the reality of the situation is, like, you have a support network and you have other people in your life that sort of are also accountable to you. So thanks for that. It really made me think about that a lot last night, and sort of gave me a new motivation this morning. And I'm glad that I've taken the opportunity to find you know, not only my family can support me, and I think I can talk to them quite openly and willingly, but also, you know, having the drive to seek somebody else out that can help me out at the same time as well. And that can be anybody. Like that could be like a friend or a mentor or anybody that you have that you think that you can trust that information in, because a lot of these times, like, these people that help you out mentally, they've been through this stuff, they've been through hard things, they've had to improve themselves at the same time. So gaining that advice off somebody is like, it's priceless. So I'm just going to leave it there. I just want to do that quick spiel on, you know, making sure you're speaking out, making sure you're exercising, making sure you're practicing gratefulness. You know, because I know a lot of people go through some tough times and they never speak up about it, and they never are truly grateful for what they have. And I feel I'm lucky to go on through some of the things that I've gone through, so I can practice gratefulness on a daily basis. And those windows of the black dog chasing me when I feel a little bit down have become a lot shorter and a lot smaller, and it's through practicing things like this, you know, recognizing, talking about it, speaking up about it, being grateful for what I've got, and just getting out and moving my body when I can. Thanks, guys.